I'm gonna assume if you're watching a video on procrastination, chances are you're probably procrastinating right now. And I'm just gonna say real quick, you're already doing pretty good because you're already trying to make some type of progress. But that's like the tutorial, literally level 0. And notice how I put trying in quotations. Instead of trying to do something, just do it. And I know, easier said than done. But the problem with procrastinating on something comes from rampant temptations and stimulants like TikTok, Instagram, and other social media platforms ready to steal your attention. But the first thing that helped me with reducing my levels of procrastination is in step 1, taking responsibility. Because trying implies that you're not fully committed into doing something or going all the way in. So it's like an easy cop out of doing said thing. But bro, listen, if you tell yourself you're gonna do something, it's already set in stone. So there's no way of putting your way out of it. Now, a few ways of taking responsibility for yourself and not letting procrastination take over. It's so autistically simple that I'm surprised that I haven't even thought of doing this much sooner. But go on your phone and turn off all your notifications from all the irrelevant things like Snapchat, iMessage, Instagram, YouTube, and so on and so forth. I'm already knowing you're probably like, but Noah, what if it's important? What if it's urgent? What if it's an important message I need to answer? Not to sound like an asshole, but that's straight up an excuse. And bro, just think about that for a moment. You're literally asking for someone to waste your time and violate it because you think there's something urgent. But bro, just be honest with yourself for like 10 seconds. If it was really that urgent, they could just call you. They have your number, right? Now, unless someone is dying or if there's like a genuine important thing that needs your immediate attention, then here's a tip for you. Assuming you have iOS, not Android. We don't do droids over here. But set your phone up in a way where you can only see that specific person's text. But if I'm just being honest with you, most of it is going to be a distraction anyway. So if you really want this video to help you, take responsibility for the stuff you expose yourself to by turning off your notifications for all things irrelevant. And let's be honest, you know what's relevant and what's irrelevant. And setting your phone up in a way where unless you actually go inside the app itself, that's the only time you'll see it. Because the difference between mindlessly going into something is pretty obvious. You're mindlessly just going into the app, not even knowing why you're in there in the first place, versus actually having a purpose for going inside the app is night and day. So there's nothing to really steal your attention away. Oh my God, I'm rhyming. I said rapping, I'm rhyming. So literally, bro, whoever is texting you can honestly wait until you're done with your task. And just a quick side note, it honestly blows my mind how many notifications and sounds people keep on their phones with the constant dings and text messages and all these like distracting things. And it's even more wild how these people always wonder why they're easily distracted or they can't stay focused or can't get anything done. Well, duh, bitch. You can't get anything done because you're overly stimulating yourself. You got TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube going off all at once because you're allowing these apps to steal your attention away from your main priorities and important tasks. So in other words, your priorities are fucked up. And that leads me into step number 2 of eating the frog. You're probably like wondering, oh, this guy's telling me to eat frogs. What's wrong with this guy? Basically, eating the frog is a concept and a process in which you identify your most difficult task of the day and complete it before you do any other type of work. Now, I'm just going to let you know off rip, the top 1% of successful productivity junkies in the world use this method. So for example, for me, my most important task would be to script and record this video so that way it's in like my video vault and cooking up in the oven, making sure it's like ready so I can give you guys value and overall just grow the channel. And so because this task is so cognitively demanding and takes up a lot of cognitive energy, yes, I got it. I make sure to script and record first thing in the morning. Well, actually not first thing in the morning. I have a short morning routine that I do and then I go to the scripting and recording. But if you guys want me to do a video on my morning routine, let me know in the comments below. And then after I do that, I don't even have to worry about the task anymore because it's not wandering in the back of my mind. And I'm not, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? Because I already did it. The task is done. And that's considered my main important or hardest task of the day. But this varies from person to person. So what might be my hardest task for me may not be the hardest task for you. So for example, for you could probably be like going to the gym early in the morning before you go to class or before work. Or here's another thing, taking a cold shower first thing in the morning to build up your discipline could be the most challenging task for you. That could be your eating the frog, I guess. But here's the thing I want to let you know real quick. So there's a major consequence to using this technique. And that's if you don't eat the frog first thing in the morning, then the frog will eat you. So in other words, by not doing the hardest task of your day first, the rest of your day will feel very unproductive and you're likely to feel like shit because you consciously skipped out on the most important tasks of that day. And bro, you honestly know when your day feels wasted when you're like constantly just thinking about that thing you should have, could have, would have done. So instead of like taking the L, you start to feel like a little sorry for yourself because you know you could have done more. So in case the next time you feel like skipping out on the hardest task, don't be a little bitch about it. Go ahead and do it like right away. So I don't want to hear none of that pussy shit like, I should have done this, I should have done that. Do it. Just do the shit. This leads me into the final step of dealing with procrastination. And this is by adding some friction to these bad habits. So this is kind of similar to step 1. So if you find yourself acting like a maggot and mindlessly scrolling through TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and all these other things, make it very annoying, like extremely annoying to use these apps. And don't worry, I'm guilty of doing this too. So I was being a maggot until I learned how to reduce it by making these apps super inconvenient to use, especially when you're bored. And this is like an unpopular opinion that a lot of like self-help gurus would disagree with me on, but I don't think that like other gurus telling you to delete the apps and have this like righteous moment of like freedom when you're just gonna download them back hours later. It won't solve all your problems. So I'll just give you an example of a scenario that I was in where like it was hard for me to mindlessly use these apps or procrastinate. This is back when I used to do security, and honestly, it was very boring, bro. I would just be on my laptop, edit a video, or watch YouTube or Netflix mindlessly, eating like nasty ass snacks. Like these, like from the vending machine type shit, like a peasant. And I remember this one day, the Wi-Fi was just so unbearably bad. Like it was just loading for like long periods of time. So each time I found myself slipping up, trying to scroll through TikTok, watch YouTube, or numb my mind with these apps, I instead got fed up with it because of how unbearably bad the Wi-Fi was. To the point where I didn't even want to like waste time on those apps, and instead like started doing something more productive that would help me, whether it's like reading a book or journaling or just gaining some type of like knowledge. I'm not telling you to go on the extreme end and go to McDonald's to get their trash Wi-Fi, although that does help. But what I'm basically saying is just make these things super inconvenient to do and make the good habits super convenient to do. Because you want to know something interesting, bro? Productive people don't even consider themselves productive. They just essentially have less on their plate compared to most people. Whilst all these people are scrolling through TikTok and watching YouTube videos like this, these people know what their priorities are. And bro, the thing is, there's nothing necessarily special about these people because they're human, just like you. And they're aware that there's thousands of distractions in our overly stimulated technological world. So instead of indulging in that, they choose to stay away. But although these things are there, and I understand that social media can zap your attention away and your attention span and make you lose half of your day, it is your responsibility to reduce the friction and likelihood of these things stealing your attention, which inevitably leads to procrastination. Because bro, I'm gonna let you know right now, your attention is very limited. I'm not talking about like short attention span, I'm talking about like in terms of like energy of what you could put your attention into. Because if your attention's like just scattered everywhere, chances are you're not gonna get much shit done and you're just gonna end up procrastinating. So instead of mindlessly using apps, intentionally put your attention into things that serve you. Kind of like this video, so feel free to hit the like button. And by taking it upon yourself to eat the frog before it eats you, and by adding friction and making these bad habits annoying to do and making the good ones more convenient. However you can do it though, I can't really give you the tips on how to make it inconvenient. That was just a story to give you an analogy. Do whatever you can to make it less accessible. So bro, if you really want this video to help you, use those 3 things I just listed if you really respect yourself. And if you don't try and just make excuses for yourself and arguments to somehow violate your attention and procrastinate, then I'm just gonna consider you a pussy, straight up. And I'm just gonna assume you're someone that just wants to not reach their potential. It's up to you. But that's not you, right? If you made it to the end of this video with conviction and knowing that you're gonna take action after this, that's definitely you, right? And if you're this far into the video and commented W Noah and made it to the end and subscribed and liked the video, that's definitely you, right? No, I'm just playing. There's no way in hell you're a pussy that constantly puts off work and makes excuses for trivial things that don't really impact you in any way, shape, or form. And assuming you made it this far into the video, bro, you're ahead of like 90% of other people. Because as soon as I say something like this, it's gonna piss them off and they're gonna immediately click off and go do the same shit that they were complaining about in the first place. That's not you. And don't let it be you. Make these things you're potentially putting off a priority versus the shallow things that don't matter. And bro, just watch how much less you procrastinate on the things that matter the most. But yep, that's all I got for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna see you guys. Peace.